So I wanted to do a quick video on my big knives, meaning knives that are at 4 inches, or if you're rounding up, very close to 4 inches, 4-inch blades. So for example, the Benchmade 710 here could be 3.9 some inches and change. So they're at 4 or less, quite or close to 4. If that's understood. These are knives that I use around the house or just have as collector's items. I don't carry them every day. Maybe if I were to go hiking or camping or whatever, I might carry one of these along. But one in here is a collection item. They're all collection items. One is strictly collection, and that's the Emerson CQC-8. It's for me, it's a fun knife to have. But I found that the size of the blade, and especially the size of the handle, for me, it's just too big for me to carry, and the weight is just. I have it more as a collection item. Maybe I'll dump it eventually, trade it off for something else. Design-wise, I like. It's fun to play with every now and again. But this one, I don't think I'll ever actually use. May not own that one much longer anyways. The Spyderco Military is the next up. Everyone knows all about this one. I think it's a very good knife. One of the best out there. Quality, manufacturing is top notch. The blade has just been constantly sharp. Right from when I got it. It's S30V, again about 4 inches, has the larger sized, I think it's 14mm thumb hole opening you can use with gloves. It has an all G10 handle with the liner lock, and it has partial steel liners within there. It's extremely light, I mean very light. It's the lightest one in the screen here right now. For me, I think the visual, the looks of the knife, I'm not a huge fan actually of how visually it looks. The cool factor, I guess, is what you would say. Something about the blade, it just seems a little dull or uninteresting to me. The handle is I would consider it extra long. Again, I have small to medium sized hands, and I have a lot of space left over with the handle here. And good thing it weighs hardly anything. Otherwise, I don't think I would ever carry it, just because of the size of the handle. But I have got this one out and used it and carved at pumpkins, and it's done great. I mean, you look at the deployment on it. It's not an auto or assisted knife at all. But you can deploy it so fast just with a thumb flick. I think you could do it, yeah, with the index finger from behind like you do with the Strider. It's just, again, amazing quality. And this is the one that is, I guess they're all made in the USA. But again, very good quality. Everyone knows about that. High recommendation on the Spyderco. And then I have the Benchmade 710 and D2. I think for tactical knives, self-defense, I think this is the one to have. I think it's, it opens fast, of course. It's durable, long reach blade. So I think comparison-wise, this one weighs more than the military. The CQC-8 weighs the most of the pile here. Ease of sharpening, it's probably going to be a toss-up between the, if you read up and know how to do it, the unique blade grind on this one is probably the easiest to do. It's the 154 cm on this one. The S30V on the military, pretty easy to sharpen in my view. Actually, I've never had to sharpen this one, and it has been used a decent amount. Still pretty sharp. D2 is probably the most difficult to sharpen in my view. Probably the hardest to maintain. etc. But I love the looks on this one. The coolness factor is probably the highest for me on the pile here. CQC-8 definitely has some unique features to it. It's all about personal preference, I guess. The wave feature of the CQC-8, that none of these knives have that other than this one. That's unique, it's nice, it's fun to play with, and definitely is a good tactical knife. The liners on this one are I believe to be titanium, or at least on one side. It has a partially closed back design as well. So a lot of choices here. Price wise, the CQC-8 is the most expensive and the most expensive, or most difficult to find. And then the military here is probably the next most expensive. Wow, that's fast. And then the 710 from Benchmade. So again, these are somewhat expensive knives. I want to start doing this and give my viewers some other ideas. If you don't have the funds or just can't deal with spending that kind of money on a knife, I want to give you a couple other choices. And I think they're just fine knives, and you know, they work, again, they just work fine. You could probably, some of these knives you could probably buy 5 to 6 of them and destroy each one of them before for the same price as one of these. But this Spyderco bird line Cara. So I would consider this a big knife. It's not quite the same length. It's probably only millimeters short of you know, these on the table here. But it has a similar handle shape. It has, you know, a lot of surface area. The blade is long. The only thing you might give up on this blade, ran out of batteries on that last part there, so I'll join the clips. What I was saying is that you're going to lose a little bit of the pointing and piercing ability with this Cara, in that the blade is a little sheep's foot oriented. It is somewhat hefty in weight. I would say that it's close to the 710. Military is definitely lighter. I could be wrong about that. That might be one to not listen to me and go look that one up. But so I think this was between, I think it's, depending on where you get it, 15 bucks to, you know, less than 25. So something to think about if you want this type of style. I would say this one's, you have the reach of the blade, and you have a little bit of tactical ability. It does have a lock back. I think what you're trading off is the piercing ability and somewhat the speed of deployment. And it does have a lower end steel, the Chinese steel, but honestly, again, you could use and destroy 5 to 6 of these before you could, I think way more than that even, before you would go through one military or other knife here. So something to think about if you're short of funds. Another option is the ever present and popular Ontario Rat One. I'm going to put it up here. It doesn't have quite the same reach as, again, the 710 or the military. Close on the CQC. It's close on all of them, maybe half an inch, not even that. But I'm going to put it up here because it is, again, an option. The characteristics you get is, again, the reach. You have a nice handle area, about the same size as this, basically the same size as 710. A little shorter than the CQC-8 and definitely shorter than the military. What you have is a fast deployment. Again, this is not assisted or anything like that. It's just a well-made, manually opening knife that can be flicked. You gain the ability to put the pocket clip anywhere you want. You lose on the steel. It's a US 8 steel, but again, you can destroy and use many of these before you would, for the same price as any of these on the table here. So anyways, check out the reviews on this one. I think this is a great buy. So Let me know if you want to hear anything else. Maybe I'll expand on the differences between the military and the 710 at some point. That seems to be a very popular forums topic if you peruse those. But I think that's all for now. Again, any questions, let me know.